Welcome, seniors and parents of seniors, to the senior night given by the counseling department. I am Kim Alt. I am the counselor for students' last names A through K. I think this is my 16th year here. And we want to talk to you guys about the college application process, the financial aid process, and some of the other things you need to know about students filling out college applications and things about graduation this year. So like I said, I am the counselor for last names A through K. We are working remotely right now, as you know, so you can always email me. I do come into the office several days a week, and that direct line is 815-900-3203. Mr. Harum has L through Z last names, and his email is on the slide as well. We do want to encourage all of our seniors and parents to join our senior Google Classroom. The code is there to join the classroom. We have tried to get the seniors on it and to have the notifications turned on, because the senior Google Classroom is how we do a lot of our announcements, reminders, and things to go with the college application process or the career focus. And so it's a really important Google Classroom to be on. If as a parent you want to be on that Google Classroom, you just have to send me an email and I will put your email in and send you an invite. Now, if you have students in other grade levels, we have invited them to their Google Classrooms as well. And so the codes are here. So if your junior, sophomore, or freshman is at home, and you can ask them if they're in the counseling Google Classroom. If not, that's the code, and you can help us by watching them join it. All right, so the first thing I'm going to start with is the testing, because that is probably the biggest question that everybody has. And I think if we get it out of the way first, you'll be able to focus on the rest of the stuff that we're going to talk about. So for testing, of course, for college admission and for scholarship, a lot of times they want an SAT score or an ACT score. So the difference with the testing and the scoring is listed there, plus the websites on how to sign up for those tests are there. However, colleges are being really flexible because of the coronavirus, and they understand all the difficulties everyone is going through. So a lot of colleges are taking test scores later than they normally would. Most years they want them by November 1st, but right now colleges are saying, we'll take them really late into the school year. And then a lot of colleges are saying they're going to be test optional this year, which means students can give a test score if they want to. So that doesn't penalize the kids that don't ever get to take a test. Some colleges are also changing their scholarships to not require a test score. But to find out what colleges are doing specifically, you do have to contact their admissions office on each campus or look at their website. And we will talk about test optional a little bit later. But I think this is one of the most important slides. I did already send a video to the seniors to talk about this. But there are two different types of SATs. Now, the SAT test is the same. It's just who paid for the test that's different. So the state of Illinois still requires the SAT with essay to graduate the class of 2021. However, the class of 2021 is required to take the ISBE provided SAT. That is the one that the state of Illinois, the Illinois State Board of Education, paid for students to take here at school during a school day. Now that's the SAT that is free. The student does not have to sign up. It's automatic. They have given us the option of doing the test on October 14th or October 27th. If we cannot do it on those dates because of the virus and it's still not being okay to come into school, they've given us the option to let them take it with the juniors on April 13th. However, if the school year goes on and nobody can get into school, etc., I would think the state would have to waive it at that point. But as of right now, they have not waived it, and they've given us 3 dates. So as of right now, we are not sure if we can give it in October. We have to continue to wait and see what the health departments are telling us. Also, another option besides the ISBE free test is the national weekend SAT that College Board gives. So College Board has always had Saturday options for kids to go take the SAT with essay. It's just that's the one students pay for, and they have to sign up on the College Board website. Most students should have an account. So their dates are September 26th, October 3rd, November 7th, or December 5th. Now, they did have an August 29th test. Some test centers got canceled while others did not. So you never know if your test site is going to be canceled or not until possibly right before. So if you do sign up for any of the national weekend tests, you should always make sure that your center is still open. Some people are trying to go to Wisconsin to see if they can take it there if those schools don't cancel. But go to the College Board site. There's a whole bunch of information on there. The thing is, if a student takes the National Weekend SAT, they still have to take the ISBE SAT in order to graduate. So they cannot get out of the ISBE one. But if they want to try and take a national one too, so that they have one if their college is still requiring it, they do have the option to pay for the $68 weekend test. Khan Academy has free SAT prep. They've developed that with College Board, so it is really the best prep, and it's free, which when I was in high school, we did not have any free test prep available. So the 5 steps to picking the college and applying to college, I tried to make it really easy by making it 5 simple steps. So you and your student this year, the first thing you're going to do is make sure they apply to 4 or 5 schools. Then you're going to get replies from the schools as to whether or not the student was admitted and what scholarship amounts they got. Then you will do the FAFSA, which is the financial aid application. That is in October. Then you will get your FAFSA results from each of the 4 to 5 colleges that your student was admitted to. And then you choose your college. So you don't actually choose the college till April or May. So this really is a full year process, mainly because you want to see your financial aid results and your scholarship amounts before you choose your school. A lot of kids think once they get in, it's done. So you really should take the school year to decide. So, as I said, step 1 is apply. We really want seniors to apply between now and November 1st. And that's just because November 1st is sometimes a priority deadline, not a deadline, but it increases your chances of scholarship and admission. So, like we said, apply to 4 or 5 schools. Their applications are online. It's usually on the school's website under admission. It might be under admissions, undergraduate admissions, prospective student, or future student. Tech schools sometimes do things a little bit differently, but sometimes their app is on their website. But sometimes they have you put your contact information in first, and then they contact you and they start the process. There's also something called the Common Application. It's where you can do one application for a whole bunch of schools. They have 900 schools in that system. So if 3 or 4 of your schools take Common App, just do the Common App and you select the schools that you want it to go to. There's also an application called the Coalition Application. They have about 150 schools. So it's not as big. But your seniors should know a little bit more about that. If you want to see how easy it is to find an application, the EIU, if you go to Eastern Illinois University's website, it's right on the front page. Apply now or schedule a visit if you want to do something this fall for a visit. And this is ISU. It's right there on the front page. Become a Redbird. Apply now. Okay, so we want to make everyone aware that to help with the application process, which is step 1, we want to make sure you know about Naviance. Your student has already been working on Naviance. It's our new online college and career platform. Students can access it through Clever. This is where they kind of collect all the extra documents that they need to go with their application. So they can request letters of recommendation from teachers and counselors. They can request their transcripts. They can track their college application documents. They can track their acceptances or denials. It's a way for them to communicate with their counselor as to what they've been told by the different schools. There are 2 trainings below that we've put on the Senior Google Classroom many times, and we talked about in our College App Workshop this summer. The first training kind of shows the kids an introduction to Naviance and how to use it. They can do college research, career research. If they don't know what degree they need for a certain career, they can find out. And then the second training is showing them how to request letters of rec and transcripts, etc. So this kind of helps the students not have to physically collect forms. These forms get sent electronically, so everything is really fast. So make sure you watch some of these trainings and make sure you reach out to us if you have questions. So your student gets to Naviance right here on their Clever. There is an app for that. So they do need to contact me, though, for their username and password for Naviance. So that's the key. Okay, continuing step 1, which is applying between now and November 1st. I want to make sure you understand that applying to schools begins the scholarship search process. So I have had students before that are looking for scholarships when they haven't even applied to school. And I always say, apply to schools, then worry about it. Because a lot of schools have automatic scholarships that if you get in and you meet certain criteria, they're automatically taking money off your bill. So the earlier you apply, the better. You might have to do essays, interviews, get letters of recommendation, etc. And a lot of them have application fees, but if you are on free and reduced lunch, you can get a fee waiver. It looks like this, or the school might have their own fee waiver. This fee waiver kind of covers the ones where maybe you can't find a specific fee waiver. You can use the NACYAC one up to 4 schools. They just have to get it filled out by their counselor. They have to apply or they have to be eligible for free or reduced lunch in order, and there's some other things on there too. But this document is attached on the Google Classroom and to the email. And you can use it up to 4 schools. Continuing step 1, I want to make sure everyone understands the difference between early decision, early action, and regular decision. So a lot of times when kids are applying to school, it asks them, do you want to apply regular or early? And the student's like, well, I don't know. I don't know what that means. So I want to make sure everyone understands that early decision can be a legally binding agreement. That if you get into that school, you will go to that school and you will withdraw all your other applications. So early decision is really not a good idea unless you know you want to go to that school and you know you can afford it if you don't get financial aid and scholarships. So early decision should be a very rare thing. Early action, you just always want to read the print and make sure that people aren't using early action and early decision interchangeably. Early action usually means it's not legally binding, but I'm going to find out earlier because I'm pretty sure I want to go to that school. Regular decision is, I got 5 options. I really want to see how they all play out. And regular decision is what most students will do. A lot of schools are going to require the transcript and the test scores if they are still requiring test scores. But like I said, some colleges are going test optional for the class of 2021, but not all of them. So you really need to go on each school's website to find out. So like I said, test optional means you have the option of sending in test scores. So if your grades aren't great, but you know you've got a good test score and you know you can do well, you might choose to submit a test score. Some schools require test scores for scholarships, but you have to check with each school. There are 2 links that I put on here from NACYAC where colleges have been kind of putting things on a spreadsheet as to what they are doing in particular. So it might make things faster for you. Okay, continuing step 1, the senior brag sheet. This is a sheet we've asked seniors to fill out and email to their counselor and to any teacher that they're going to ask for a letter of recommendation from. It just helps us write better letters. So it looks like this. There's a front and back. So a lot of seniors have turned that in, but not very many. Continuing with step 1, if you feel like you and your child still need to do more research, there are resources in our office, on our website, Naviance. Go to each college website, visit with college representatives and college visits. We have a lot of colleges on our calendar now that are going to visit with our students virtually. So you really need to check our website and check Naviance so you can sign up for those. They're coming either during 0-hour lunch periods or after school. Students can also use any of these other websites to do further college and career research and scholarship research. Okay, continuing step 1. If your student still wants to do some more exploring, there are virtual college fairs this year. Typically they are in person, but NACYAC has made them all virtual. So there's 4 coming up, and your student can register at virtualcollegefairs.org. And then MCC's fair is probably going to be October 1st, but they are going to be virtual as well. In the past, it's been 6 to 8 p.m., but being virtual, I'm not sure what the time is going to be, but you can check their website. And if we are back in school and everything is good and going in April, we will still have our personal in-person college fairs and career fair in April. The nice thing about the career fair is it's close to the end of the school year, so seniors that are really serious about getting a job have a really good chance of finding something at the fair. Okay. So this is the flyer for those virtual fairs. Kind of talks about what app's going to be used and things like that for the fairs. Okay, so MCC, if your student knows they want to go to MCC, they don't usually start taking applications until later, but you can always call MCC to find out if they're taking them earlier this year. But it looks like they're going to start taking applications November 11th, and they'll have a free application night. Usually it's on their campus, but this year I'm not sure if it'll end up being virtual. But I just wanted you to know that MCC usually starts taking applications later than the tech schools or the 4-year colleges. CLC has an online application, and if your student goes to tech campus, it still does not help you get CLC in district tuition. Now, if CLC has a program that MCC doesn't have, they may have what's called a reciprocal agreement. So you can always talk to CLC and find out if there's a form that you can fill out to get in-district tuition for a program that MCC does not have. If your student wants to do a 4-year degree, but they're going to do the first 2 years at MCC, they only have to apply to MCC right now. They will not apply to that 4-year school until the year before they're going to go there. Okay, we're still on step 1. If any of you have students interested in college athletics, there is an eligibility center they have to register with for NCAA and one for NAIA. Those are different conferences. Division III NCAA is not part of the eligibility center, but 1 and 2 are. I have 2 links here from our website that shows you the changes in NCAA policy for the class of 2021. And the student athlete guide is also one of the links. It's a one-time fee for each school or each program there. And then colleges will see if you're even eligible by their academic standards before they start talking to you about playing. This is just real quick. There is something known as alternative admissions. So if there is a college that you really want to get into and your student did not get in, you can always talk to admissions to find out if they have any alternative programs for students that maybe don't get in because their GPA is too low or something. When I was a grad student at Eastern, I worked in their alternative admissions program, and their students had like required study hours. It was kind of like they were getting into the college on a probationary status, and they just had to work themselves off of that. So it was a really good program. Okay, step 2 from the earlier slide talks about getting replies from the schools in terms of admission and scholarship. So obviously you will start getting replies back, but you don't want to make your decision yet. Maybe you want to make a spreadsheet as to what each college has offered you, what that is now making the price, and just kind of keep a spreadsheet for a while. Step 2, you can keep continuing to apply to more. So maybe you've applied to 5 schools, but now there's 2 other schools you're kind of interested. Go ahead and apply. You can do 10 schools if you want. I just say 4 to 5 is kind of, rule of thumb. You can keep applying for more scholarships at each college that you apply to. Sometimes they have automatic scholarships, and they have scholarships that have applications. University of Illinois, I put that website here. They have a scholarship that's linked to FAFSA. It's for families with low income and not a lot of assets. I'm trying to find it in my papers here. If you have a family income of $67,100 or less, you could qualify for the commitment scholarship, but you have to do the FAFSA in order to be eligible, and it covers tuition and fees for 4 years, and you have to have assets of less than $50,000. So the website is there if you are interested. And of course, we want seniors to keep their grades up because the colleges they apply to will be looking at their grades all year. Okay, so an example, Illinois State, they have Explore Our Scholarships. That's kind of a link where you can look for additional scholarships besides the automatic. So I just kind of wanted to show you how easy it was to navigate their websites. This is an exhaustive list of websites you can use to continue to look for scholarships. However, these are national scholarships, so these are much harder to get. So I wouldn't put as much time into these as I would in the scholarships at each college and the scholarships that you see on our Naviance and JHS counseling website in the Google Classroom. I'd say these would come after those things because these are harder to get. The website, the MCC website, kind of shows you which schools have in-state tuition for Illinois students. If you want to go to the counseling website to try to find our scholarship list, you go to school info, go down to counseling/CCRC, and you will see general and local scholarships where you can click on. Obviously, school just started, so we're kind of getting things up and running. And then hopefully our Naviance tab will be on there soon because we just started using that this year. Okay, so step 3, I said, was to fill out the FAFSA. Now, FAFSA is actually a graduation requirement for the class of 2021. So it's the first class that has this requirement. The FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. It does not open until on October 1st. If you try to fill it out before October 1st, you will not be filling out the right FAFSA. You do it every October that your student is in college, and it's always for the following school year. So in October, you'll be doing the FAFSA for their freshman year. Next October, you'll be doing the FAFSA for the sophomore year. So you want to use the FAFSA.ed.gov website. It covers July 1st to June 30th. You use your 2019 tax info, and financial aid is first come, first serve. So you don't want to wait too long to start filling it out. It's one application that shows you if you're eligible for federal grants, state grants, scholarships, work study, or student loans. So this is where student loans come from. They don't come from, going to a bank and applying. That comes from the FAFSA. And grants and scholarships are money that does not get paid back. If you fill out a FAFSA, you do not have to accept anything that you are offered. But it is required for you to fill it out. The state just wants people to realize that there's programs out there that can help, even sometimes when they don't think that there are. Each college you've been accepted to will review your FAFSA and offer you a financial aid package. So once again, you want to wait for all those financial aid packages to come in, put that information on your spreadsheet, and continue the decision-making process. FAFSA is on Twitter. The Illinois Student Assistance Commission is the Illinois, state government grants. They're involved with FAFSA. So if you're on Facebook or Twitter, you can follow these people, and it gives you reminders, and it gives you even more education. But yes, it is an Illinois State Board of Education requirement this year for students to do a FAFSA. The FAFSA website looks like this when you get there. There is a FAFSA.com website as well, but you do not want to go to that website because it charges you money to do your FAFSA. You want to go to the ed.gov. That is the government website. Okay, every college has their own FAFSA deadline. Everyone should complete a FAFSA no matter what, in case there's an income change, an emergency, or if you have multiple kids in college, it increases your chances of getting help. So if you didn't get it with your first kid, but next year you're going to have 2 kids in college, you should do the FAFSA because maybe now you'll qualify for something. So the FAFSA will look at your income and compare it to the cost of the school. So you're probably thinking, okay, I don't know how to do a FAFSA. So we are going to have a financial aid virtual night, September 23rd, just like this one, 7 o'clock. We'll send out a video that teaches you about financial aid, what it is, how you get it, who's responsible for paying it, what are the, percentages, etc. If you can't view ours, MCC always has a bunch of financial aid nights going on. And your student does not have to be going to MCC. The FAFSA is the same no matter where you're going to school. Then Monday, October 5th, starting at 6 p.m., we'll have like an open house format with a representative from a financial aid office, where you can actually call in and tell us what you're struggling with while you're completing your FAFSA. So you can get it done, while we're sitting on Zoom. So that's going to be virtual. You'll need your 2019 tax info, driver's license, social security number. So the first time you do a FAFSA, it should involve the student and the parents, and you will need to get an FSA ID ahead of time, which one parent needs an FSA ID and the student does too. But we'll talk about that on the 23rd. Okay, after you do your FAFSA, you'll start getting results from the schools. And like I said, you will not want to pick your college until you get all of those in and you can finally make a decision. Now, in a normal year, a lot of colleges say May 1st is the deadline. You need to tell us if you're coming. Now with the virus and everything, that's probably going to be later than usual, but May 1st is the typical deadline where colleges can say, okay, you have to tell me now. So, okay, so we are here to help you. We don't like to give you an overwhelming amount of information. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to let you process all this. I'm going to let you pull up all the documents we've included, like the senior year timeline, the senior brag sheet. Click on those links, start getting familiar with stuff. And we are always available to help. I just know it's a lot of info. So please contact me. I can Zoom with anyone that emails me and says they want to have a Zoom because they have questions about what they've heard tonight. Maybe it's not something they want to share with everybody else. It's just like a personal question. And obviously, we're always available for the students. We had some workshops in the summer, and we're always available for individual appointments on Zoom or Google Meets. Okay, so I hope everyone has a great night, and I'm going to end the video here. So please give us a call. Thank you.